Now, today I'm going to introduce you to another one of our longtime friends who has a very interesting journey, has had in his life. His name is Judd Meaders, and we met him when he assumed the pastorate of Grace Episcopal Church in Canton several years ago. Now, his skill with a camera, coupled with his eye for engaging subjects to photograph, has gained him a substantial following, including the movie personnel, or the movie making personnel, when they require photos during their projects in Canton. His role in the Army intelligence during the Cold War generated some unique situations he's also agreed to share with us. So let's just go on in and meet him. Well, we are in my wife's studio, and we are graced with the presence of one Judd Meaders, who is an old friend of mine. Judd, I hate to say old friend. A lot of people don't like that when I say that we're old friends.
Well, I am.
Our long-time friends, maybe it would be better. But Judd and I have known each other for a long time, a multi-talented person and a good man. So I've invited him to come and share with you all some of the things that he does. He's from being a spook in East Germany in the Army, he'll tell you about it, all the way up through his priesthood, and now doing beautiful work with photographs. And I thought you'd be interested in this. Judd, welcome to Chaco, Mississippi, and Richie's Roost. So if you would just kind of tell us where you came from and how you kind of a snippet of your life, where you're from and where you went education-wise.
I would be remiss, Jim, if I didn't thank you for the humor I've gotten from you, all the good laughs, not at you, but with you, and the things you've said and written, and your ability to tell a joke. I really appreciate that. So I could probably say maybe you've extended my lifespan a little with that humor.
Uh-oh. Thank you.
Photographs and photography. I remember having an early Polaroid camera and did a lot of little 2-inch square black and whites with that. Still looking for a photograph of my baby brother being held by my grandpa in the little hallway in his house. Haven't been able to find it, but I'm still looking for it. But my photography really, I guess you could say, took off when I got in the Army. I was sent to the Defense Language Institute in Monterey, California for 8 months to learn German, being sent to Germany. Went to the PX and bought my first single lens reflex, a Yashica that could accommodate not only a normal lens, but a wide angle and telephoto and fisheye. That was a big start. But I really started getting into more of the technical side and the basics and understanding more about it when I got to Germany, and my military intelligence border office had its own dark room, but they wanted me to be a photo guy for them, so they sent me to the Leica factory in Wetzlar. The Leica cameras, you may know, world famous. We had one in our office. We had lenses for it, and kind of ironic, but the longest lens we had was a 1,000 millimeter super telephoto that was Russian, that we could put on that Leica and photograph things like this East German observation tower.
Well, this was back when we had an East and West Germany. I mean, you were on the line when East
Correct.
Germany was still part of the Soviet Union.
Yes, I was in Fulda from 1971 to 1973.
In military intelligence.
Right. Federal Border Police, of course, used various means to inspect the border and document what was being done by the East Germans. helicopter, Federal Border Police. And this is a shot of the actual East-West German border. That marker there on the other side of it is East Germany. We would do border walks with the Federal Border Police and the German Customs. And they, in turn, when a refugee came over the East-West German border, they would notify us and let us talk to the refugee and try to ascertain what caused that person to come across the border. So we worked closely with Federal Border Police and German Customs. They would not go to the border without a weapon. We wore no rank insignia and did not take weapons when we went to the border.
So you were a bona fide spook.
I was yes. Get this, my MOS was actually interrogator. I was really not an interrogator. I did those interviews, yes. And
did that help you later on during confessions?
I think possibly could have, yes, especially when I made my own. This is Fulda is a pretty famous little German town in the state of Hesse, Roman Catholic, conservative religiously and politically. That's their cathedral. The missionary Boniface came to this area in the 8th century. That's my shot of a nun walking to the cathedral. And I didn't live in the city, lived outside in a very small village called Malchus, and that's the altar in the Roman Catholic Church there in Malchus. All of these pictures I shot, developed the film, and enlarged and printed the images. And that's a wider shot showing you the interior of that church. On base, we had a photo office, department, where there were German employees that would help us with printing and enlarging, and also kind of up our photographic ability, actually. I learned a lot from some of the people in that office. Not only did we photograph the border, we photographed civilian German population sometimes. This is an anti-abortion demonstration in Fulda, and I was sent out to photograph that and make pictures of it for intelligence use. Speaking of humor, this is a Fasching parade. Fasching is the German run-up to Lent, comparable to Mardi Gras or Carnival. And that's
turn that back toward me.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a little float saying, Uncle Willy Brandt, the German chancellor, we want still more of what you can give us. We haven't gotten enough. And with my friends, I would sometimes get passes and leaves. This is on a leave to London. I photographed this GI surreptitiously. Did I say that right?
You got me. I went to Old Mill.
Without his knowing it, possibly, in a train station. So, a lot to thank the Army for, not only just being in Germany, but travel. Still love travel photography. Nance and I travel whenever we can. And I always take, let's say, several cameras with me.
Well, back before Army days, you were from around Hickory, Mississippi to start with, right?
That's correct, yeah.
And where'd you go to school?
I went to Clark College, Little Baptist College in Newton, which was all of 8 miles away. I had a student pastorate in Neshoba County on Highway 16 east of Philadelphia, Mount Nelson Baptist Church. And then after Clark, I went to Mississippi College, where several of my mom's family, my mom's sisters, had gone to Clark and then later to Mississippi College. And I had an aunt who taught in the public school system in Clinton.
Well, with all that Baptist background, how'd you wind up an Episcopalian?
Yes. Well, in seminary, I attended my first Episcopal church service, my first Eucharist, and I was just kind of blown away with the way Scripture was done. So much Scripture: Old Testament, Psalm, New Testament, Gospel, the music, and the liturgy itself. So, long story short, it was like coming home, Jim.
Well, I'll tell folks this: you were the rector here at Grace Church in Canton for several years.
Yeah, a little over 17.
17 years. And
yeah.
We had the pleasure of listening to you preach many, many, many times. So we wanted to make sure they knew, that I did move in those circles and not just friends in low places. Okay. Well, let's get into some of your photographs. Well, you actually now have a photography business.
I
right?
do, yes.
And they'd be interesting.
Kind of low key, Jim, but yes.
Well, yeah, but the photographs are not low key. You've done some really beautiful stuff, and I'm glad you came here to share some of them with us.
Well, thank you. I mentioned travel photography. We've been to New York twice now, and this is one of my shots of Lady Liberty. Going to Ellis Island was a eye-opening experience and a real treat. Through parishioners' generosity, we got to go to Nova Scotia, and this is Peggy's Cove, Nova Scotia. It's a very famous lighthouse there. But lest you think I only do travel photography, this is, I think, the prettiest courthouse in the state of Mississippi.
And so do I.
I love to shoot it. I shoot it in all kinds of weather: storms, snow, early morning, early evening. I love to shoot the courthouse.
That is the courthouse on the Canton Square.
That's exactly right.
Madison County Courthouse. It's a classic.
My wife is a native North Carolinian, and she will tell you that when you get to North Carolina, you have the option of going to the beach or to the mountains. This is a beach shot from the Outer Banks. That's the top of the Hatteras Island Lighthouse. We've had the chance to go to the Outer Banks twice and have enjoyed it immensely both times. This is a personal favorite of mine. That's Peggy's Cove again, and done in black and white. I like that.
Okay.
Artists, photographers, writers, humorists, always looking to up their game. And one of the things that helps me is looking to other artists. This is the Marine combat photographer David Douglas Duncan's book on Pablo Picasso. And Duncan was a family friend of the Picassos and spent a lot of time with them at their home. I tabbed one here. This is Picasso with his wife. A lot of shots of their family. The thing that I took away, especially from this book, was Duncan's statement that Picasso was the freest spirit he had ever known, but at the same time, he was the most disciplined. And that on the day he died, approaching 91 years of age, Picasso had been in his studio until 4 o'clock that morning. I'm still working on that disciplined thing. One of the ways I use Facebook, my grandkids tease me about Facebook because I'm posting there, often pictures of them. Make sure to ask if it's okay first. But Facebook gives me a way to put my work immediately up and out there. I enjoy seeing it on Facebook, but there's this company called Book, and this is one of their books. It's my work that was on Facebook in 2021. It's a way to get that into my hands, and if I want to, into family members' hands, prints of what I've done. You know, in this digital age, we sometimes lose sight of prints, and I like to have a book that helps me look at the prints and give prints away if I want to.
Well, in this digital age, I sometimes forget to do anything. Ignorance is
yes,
rampant with me.
I've had the pleasure of working on 3 movies that were shot in Canton and 1 music video. This is Catalina Rodriguez, who was the female lead in Saved by Grace with Joey Lawrence. She's not only a talented actress, but a very kind and wonderful person. It was a delight to get to know Catalina.
Beautiful, too.
Exactly, yes. Easy to look at, as they say.
Yeah.
This is Daniella Bodilla on the set of Texas Heart in Charleston, Mississippi. Very nice-looking young woman, also talented actress, and she's shown with Buddy, a Ridgeland dog, trained for the movie by our mutual friend Jerry Lusto. Daniella Bodilla.
We're showing some little reflections on that. It shouldn't be there, the lighting, and I apologize right away for that, but you know, they can get a general idea of what it is. I'm sorry that it's not that quality.
And this is, the folks in the film industry call him Jimmy Kahn. On set, I called him Mr. Kahn. But Jimmy was very nice and very cooperative in allowing me to get some still shots of him. This is him in the sheriff's office in Madison County. And this is a movie that never made it to production, I'm afraid, Acre Beyond the Rye. But he was the star.
Well, they're shooting another movie in Canton as we speak.
That's right. They are.
I don't know what the name of it is.
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman did it, I think.
And Cole Hauser, the guy from Yellowstone, was in it. I know too. So,
Canton's beginning to get a lot of movies down here. It's kind of nice to see.
Yes. I think the state restored the tax incentives. That's another big draw.
You wouldn't say that money talks or anything.
But yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Let's see. The only thing I have not talked about yet, Jim, I think is some contact info, my website,
Good.
My email.
Okay. Well, I asked you to do this so that
handwritten, yes.
Yes, handwritten. So it's my fault. He had to do it in a hurry. So there it is. Move it over to your right, just a skosh. Yeah, there you go. Okay. And there we have the Academy Street Studio.com, hosted by Zenfolio.
Exactly.
And Pickfair.com. Judd Meaders, Meaders, folks. Tell them about those albums.
Yes. I'm proud of those 9 albums that are on Pickfair, especially the Bear album. In North Carolina, I photograph American black bears. They are very common in our area of North Carolina. I have, I think, some maybe close to 20 different pictures of bears in that album. I have several friends who are keen birders. I couldn't classify myself as a birder, but I love to photograph birds. And I have a birds album there. I love to shoot ospreys and hawks. I have a few bald eagle shots, but grosbeaks, goldfinches, cardinals, love cardinals. Finally got a good shot recently of a Carolina chickadee. I call it a black-capped chickadee. Small bird, but very pretty. I've also shot flowers for as long as I can remember. Have a lot of flower shots. I shot the moon as recently as night before last. I shoot the moon, different phases of the moon, setting moon, rising moon, all kinds of moon shots there. That's my email at the bottom, and my phone number, should you want to avail yourself of it.
Okay, good. Well, sir, that is only a very small part of what your capability and talent is, but I really appreciate, excuse me, you coming out here and sharing it with us. And you'll be hearing, I'm sure, from some folks that have seen this morning. Thank you very much, Judd. I appreciate the help, and I appreciate your friendship, man.
It was a delight to do this with you, Jim.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thanks. Many thanks, Judd, for sharing that with us. I'm sure the folks out there were delighted with it as I was. And I'm also delighted with you all that you visited with us. Now, next week, the current plans are to introduce you to another friend with a story that you'll find not only interesting, but also informative. And you know, I just continue to count my blessings to be associated with so many incredible people. It's amazing. Thank goodness. I'm Jim Ritchie, and I'll see you again next time.